Alex's college ends in 6 months, and lately, everyone seems to have an opinion about what he should do next. His parents tell him to get a stable job. An entrepreneur tells him to start something of his own. His professor tells him to continue studying. A traveler tells him to see the world before settling down. A self-help guru tells him to follow his passion. The strange thing is, they all sound right. Every answer makes sense. Every answer has worked for somebody. And yet they all point in different directions. So Alex starts wondering, why does every human seem to have a different answer to the same problem? 3 humans. 3 writing systems. One writes left to right. One writes right to left. One writes top to bottom. At first, it seems strange. How can humans solve the same problem in 3 completely different ways? But for most of history, people were living in very different worlds. A person writing on stone faced different constraints than someone writing on paper. Someone using bamboo strips organized information differently than someone using a scroll. The goal never changed. Preserve knowledge. Pass ideas forward. Store information outside the human mind. But the path changed. Not because one group was smarter, not because one group was right, but because every group was solving the problem in front of them. When the environment changes, the solution changes too. And writing isn't the only thing humans solved differently. For thousands of years, people have been trying to answer much bigger questions. What makes a good life? What should we value? How should we live? And just like writing, they came up with very different answers. Around the same time, on opposite sides of the world, 2 men were trying to answer the same question. How should we live? One was Aristotle. The other was Confucius. Neither knew the other existed. Neither read the other's work. Yet both would shape the lives of billions of people. Aristotle looked at the world around him and concluded that a good life begins with the individual. Think, question, reason, become the best version of yourself. Confucius looked at the world around him and reached a different conclusion. A good life begins with relationships, family, responsibility, harmony. Know your place within the larger whole. 2 intelligent men, the same question, 2 very different answers. So who was right? Maybe that's the wrong question, because neither man was trying to win an argument. They were trying to solve the problems in front of them, just like those writing systems. Different worlds, different challenges, different solutions. And for most of history, that wasn't a problem, because people usually lived inside a single worldview. The answers available to them were often the only answers they knew. If you were born in ancient Greece, you inherited Greek ideas. If you were born in ancient China, you inherited Chinese ideas. If you were born in India, you inherited Indian ideas. You didn't spend your evenings comparing Aristotle to Confucius. You inherited a map. And for most people, that was enough. But Alex lives in a very different world. For the first time in history, answers from every corner of humanity sit side by side. Every voice sounds intelligent. Every voice has helped somebody. Every voice points in a different direction. Alex keeps waiting for one of them to sound obviously wrong. None of them do. And that's when he notices something. These answers aren't competing. They're answering different problems. The problem isn't that there are no answers. The problem is that, for the first time in history, Alex can see all of them at once. And that leaves him with a new question. If every answer was built for a different problem, how do you know which one applies to yours? That question isn't new. Humans have faced it before. They just never called it that. For thousands of years, people walked into forests they didn't understand. No map, No guarantee, just the need to find a way through. They didn't wait for the perfect path before moving. They moved. They made mistakes. They adjusted. They found a way through. That's not so different from what Alex is facing now. Aristotle, Confucius, his parents, the entrepreneur, the podcast, the book. Each one is a trail somebody actually walked. Some of those trails will fit the forest Alex is standing in. Some won't. And there is no shortcut for discovering the difference. He won't know by collecting more maps. He won't know by finding one more expert. He won't know by reading one more book. Because a path only reveals itself after you start walking it. Some ideas sound perfect until you live them. Others seem ordinary until they change your life. The only way humans have ever discovered which paths were worth following was by following them. First cautiously, then confidently, and eventually far enough to see where they lead. Alex wanted the right answer, but human history was never built on certainty. It was built on adaptation. The people who wrote left to right adapted. The people who wrote right to left adapted. Aristotle adapted to his world. Confucius adapted to his. And now, Alex has to do the same. For thousands of years, that happened in forests, then deserts, then cities. Today, it happens in a forest of ideas. The forest changed, from trees to concrete, from survival to meaning. But the process remained the same. Humans never found their way by standing still. They found it by moving. But choosing a path is only half the battle. Most people never take the first step. Why? Fear of failure. That's what we'll explore next time.